Good morning students. Today's topic is virtual base class. So in hybrid inheritance, we have a multiple path. Suppose a class D which is derived from two classes, class B and C, and those two classes are derived from class A. So this is the hybrid inheritance. In the last class we discussed hybrid inheritance. There I had taken class A is the base class, B and C are the derived class of A. From class B again we derived one more class D, isn't it? So that is hybrid inheritance. If I derive class D from class B and class C, so the two copy of data members of class A will be inherited to class D, one from class B and another from class C. So what is the main purpose of virtual base class? Sometimes in inheritance a class gets a multiple copy of data members or member functions of its base class. Then there will be ambiguity which function or which data has to execute. I'll explain this through an example. Let us consider class A, this is a base class, class B which is derived from class A, and class C also derived from class A. So this is hierarchical inheritance. If I take one more class, if this class is derived from class B and class C, what happens here? B inherits the properties of class A and C also. If class A contains a data member register number, so if register number is in protected section or in public section, if we inherit the register number, that is data member of class A, will be inherited to class B and also class C. It's very simple. B and C are the derived classes of class A. Class A contains register number, it is a data member. So when we inherit this class B and class C gets a register number. Okay, this property is inherited to B and C. Again, I am going to inherit one more class from B and C. D is a derived class of class B and class C. So D gets a register number from B and also from C. Okay, so this class having multiple copy of register number, and what is the multiple path here? From B and also from C. So sometimes in real-time examples or real-time software developments, if we implement inheritance, a multiple path will be exist. From multiple path, some data will be repeated, redundancy will occur. To overcome that redundancy, we'll use a virtual base class. Virtual is a keyword. From which class or from how many classes the data will be repeated or data is coming multiple times, we have to make those classes as virtual. Here from where I am getting multiple copies? From B and from C. So I have to make B and C as a virtual base class, so that only one copy will come to class D. Understood? So what is the purpose of virtual base class? In some examples or some problem statement, we need to inherit multiple classes and multiple path will be exist. From multiple path, data will be repeated. So there would be ambiguity which data it has to execute. So in order to overcome that multiple data redundancy, we have to make those classes as virtual base classes. Here B and C are the base classes of class D. From these two classes, data will be repeated because B inherits the property of A. What is the property of A? Register number. So register number is inherited to class B. Here also. C inherits the property of A. C also contains register number. And D inherits the properties of B and C. So register number again. From B also register number will be inherited to class D, and from class C also register number will be inherited to class D. So there are two copies of register number. So this class, the class A data will be repeated here. From where? From B and from C. From these two paths the data will be repeated. That's why in order to overcome this data redundancy or repetition of data, If I want to access register number, I have to create object for this class, isn't it? This is a derived class. To this class I have to create object. I want to access register number either for read purpose or display purpose. Now I want to read register number, enter register number, user has to input register number. Which register to which register number data has to go? Here there are two register numbers, isn't it? So then the program will show error. Multiple data will be appeared in the class D. That's why we have to reduce or we have to remove this data redundancy by making these two classes as virtual base class. I'll show through an example. Consider this is header files #include iostream.h, #include iostream.h, #include conio.h, class, I'll take class A, name of the class is A. In the protected section, I'll take a data member int R or reg, class close. B and C, B is a class, derived class which is derived from class A, colon, I am derived in public mode, class B public, and base class name is A. I am deriving this class in the public mode. So you know the rules, public mode of inheritance. What is the rule? Both protected and public members of the base class are inherited to respective sections of the derived class. If there is a public member, then public members are inherited to public section of the derived class. In this example, I had taken only a protected data member. So protected data member is inherited to protected section of the derived class. Why? Because visibility mode is public. Understood? Here in the protected section, I won't take any data member to this class, just I mentioned protected, class close. Now class C colon public, class A, here also protected section. See here, B and C are the derived classes of class A and they are inherited in public mode. Now one more class, as per this pictorial representation, I want to derive one more class D from B and C. What type of inheritance it is? If you consider only this much, two base classes and one derived class, that is multiple inheritance. If you consider this part, which kind of inheritance it is? One base class, more than one derived classes. So it is a hierarchical inheritance. Now class D colon public B comma public C. So class D is derived from two classes, one is class B and another one is class C. In the protected section, here also I will not take any data member, just I will leave empty. In the public section, later I will complete it. Now I will write a main function to make you understand. I will write main function first. Void main, open flat bracket. See here, this is an example for hybrid inheritance. In such situation, in this situation what happened? Class D is inherited from class B and also class C. ಈ ಥರ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಲ ನಾವು ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Sometimes it is required to inherit like this. So in such situation what happens? The same data will be repeated multiple times in the derived class. ಈ ಥರ ಬಂದಾಗ, ಈ ಥರ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅರೈಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಎದು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? 2 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಬಿ ಇಂದ ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸಿ ಇಂದ. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾನೀಗ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ನಂಬರ್ ರೀಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ನಂಬರ್. ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಒನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಡಿ, ವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್. Cout, enter register number. Cin, extraction, what I have taken here, reg. Okay, I'll take one more function, void disp cout, insertion, register number colon reg. So function close, class close. I want to call this function input function through the object of class D. So I have to create object. How to create object? Class name and object name, semicolon, terminated with a semicolon. Now name of the class is D. I'll take object name is obj. Understood? So which function I have to call in order to read register number? Input function. Register number, reg, it is a data member. It belongs to the class A, isn't it? It's a base class data member. Let us see the inheritance here. Class B inherits the properties of class A. What are the properties here? I have taken only one property here, that is a data member, int reg, and this reg will be inherited to derived class, class B. Okay, so it is a protected data. You all know base class, what kind of data members are inherited to derived class? Public and protected members of base class will be inherited to derived class. Understood? So in this example I did not take public member, I had taken only protected member. Here mode of inheritance is public. ನಾನು ತುಂಬ ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಫಸ್ಟು ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂದು ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಯಾವ ಡೇಟಾ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಂದ? ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಮೋಡ್ ಇರಲಿ, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದ ಮೋಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆನ್ಸ್, ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. Okay, so then what is the role of this visibility mode? After inheritance, those members are becomes which or they goes to which access specifier. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತವೆ ಅವು? ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂದ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸು ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ಸೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್, ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಯರ್ಸ್, ಇಸಂಟ್ ಇಟ್? ಪ್ರತಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲೂ ನಾವು 3 ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಯರ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್. In this example, I have taken only protected member. This is a base class. So visibility mode is public. As per the rule, public, if it is a public mode of inheritance, base class, protected and public members are inherited to respective section of the derived class. ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋದು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. So what you have to understand here, now the class B protected section having reg, register number. So this class also having reg, this property is inherited to this class. So if I take any object to this class, I can access register number. Now class C, I did not take anything here, just I am showing from where the data will be inherited to which classes. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟ್ ಆಯಿತು ಈಗ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಬಿಗೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಎ ಯಲ್ಲಿರೋದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಬಿಗೆ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನಾವು ಅನದರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಎ, class C which is inherited from class A. Again class C also contains a register number. Protected data will be inherited to protected section of the derived class. This class having 2 derived classes. Okay, now class B also contains reg, class C also having reg. Further I derived one more class D, that is derived from class B and also class C, like this. D is a subclass of class B and class C. So D gets the properties of class B and also class C. What are the properties of class B? So to this particular class, this class doesn't have its own data member. It has a data member that is inherited from class A. ಇದರದ್ದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಡೇಟಾ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. ಇದು ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಇದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾವುದು? REG. So the same property will be inherited to class D. Now the class D protected section having REG. And one more, class C. Because class D is inherited from class B and also from class C. Class C na protected section allu yenide? REG ide. That REG also inherited to this class. A same class, it should not contain multiple data members with the same name, isn't it? ಅದರ ಇರೋ ಹಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ? ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ. If I call this function, I hope you all understanding what I am saying. Now the protected section of class D having 2 copies of its base class, it's a super class. Okay. Next, if I call this function input function, in order to get the value for REG from this object obj.input. Now my intention is to get the value from the keyboard and I have to store in REG. Okay. So which REG it has to access? ಈಗ ಎರಡು REG ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾವ REG ಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು? Then the program will shows error. There is an ambiguity. In order to avoid this confusion or this error, in order to remove this, debug this, we have to make this class, which class? Class B and class C as virtual. How to make these two classes as virtual base class? Before visibility mode or after visibility mode, you can add the keyword virtual. Here also virtual. Then any one copy will be inherited to, any one data member will be inherited to class D. Virtual. Visibility mode is public and base class name is A. Here class C colon virtual public and base class name is A. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್. ಯಾವ ಪಾತಿಂದ ಇದು ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? ಬಿ ಮತ್ತು ಸಿ ಇಂದ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಬಿ ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸಿನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ? ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. How to make a class as a virtual base class? By adding this keyword, virtual keyword, so that we can avoid that repetition or redundancy. Now the program will execute smoothly. Object obj.disp. Get ch, close. So you can write the same example for exam. So this is a very simple example on virtual base class. What is the purpose of virtual base class? You'll get 1 mark question on this virtual base class. It will be embedded in a 5 mark, 1 mark definition and 4 mark for program. What is virtual base class? Virtual is a keyword. Virtual base class are used to avoid multiple copies, multiple or repeated data will be inherited to derived class. In order to avoid that repetition, we'll make this class as a virtual base class. So how to write the explanation I have given in the material. Once you go through that material, according to that you can learn. Now I am explaining the concept. If you understand this concept, you can easily write the explanation in your own words. Okay. You need to remember this pictorial representation. And these two are the virtual base class. Understood? So for what we discussed virtual base class. Now the next subtopic is abstract class, abstract base class. See, it is very simple. Abstract class. Abstract class is nothing but it is a base class. It acts as a base class to all other classes, and those classes are derived from that base class, to which we won't create any object. So I'll explain through the example. Abstract base class. Header files. To explain this, I'll take your lab programs, student information, student register number, student name. I'll take these data members in a base class and 2 subject marks total in a derived class. So total this function having, this program having 2 classes, one is student, another one is marks. From student class, I am going to derive marks class. So I have to create object for marks, the derived class. Usually we will create object to derived class, that is subclass. We will not create object for base class, because to show the inheritance concept, we have to take object of derived class and we have to access the members of base class, so that it is confirmed the base class members are inherited to derived class. ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ತೊಗೊತೀವಿ. ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿಂದ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ನ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸು ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಯಾಕೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ನ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡಾಟ್ ಆಪರೇಟರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಂದ ಮೆಂಬರ್ನ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಫ್ ಐ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಒನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ from the object of its derived class, then what you can understand, the base class members are inherited to derived class. Base class ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, derived classಗೆ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ from this we can understand another concept. Here we are not creating object for base class, we will create object for derived class. When you say the main function, only object of derived class will be appeared. So what we can understand, so when we see the main function, that main function contains the derived class name. We cannot come to know how many base classes are there in that program when we concentrate on main function, isn't it? main anta band main alli nodidaga enagutte, derived class name object create ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಅದರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ, ಯಾವ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಂದ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ. So this is abstract, ಅಂದರೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೈಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ನಮಗೆ. Only thing is executable part is appeared in the main function. Main is a function from where execution starts, isn't it? There I have created object for derived class. So we can see the derived class. We cannot come to know how many base classes are there when you see the main function. In order to view that, again you have to see entire the program detailedly, you have to see, isn't it? That's why all base classes or super classes are act as a abstract class. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಸೊ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ಗೆ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ನ ನಾವು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇರ್ತವೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದು ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಯಾವುದಿದೆಯೇ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನೇಮ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಮಗೆ ಮೇನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಅದೆಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇರ್ತವೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕತೆ ಇದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ. ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವರ್ ಹಿಡನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಯೂಸ್. So that's why those base classes we call it as abstract class. Clear? In this example, I'll take class student. In the protected section, I'll take 2 data members, int reg char name of 20. In the public section, void input enter register number and name. cin extraction reg extraction name. I'll display the values of these members through the derived class function. And one more class marks colon public, base class name is student, open flare bracket. In the protected section, I'll take data members m1 and m2, again total. 3 data members, 2 subject marks and total. Public. In order to read 2 subject marks, I'll take a function void scan cout insertion enter 2 subject marks. Cin extraction m1 extraction m2, and I'll calculate total here itself. Total is equal to marks 1 plus marks 2. This instruction is an internal process. Only the thing what you can see on the screen, enter 2 subject marks will be displayed on the screen. Then user will enter values, and those values are stored in marks m1 and m2. After that, this internal processing will be takes place. Now I will display the contents, the details of student, void display. I'll display in a tabular format. Cout insertion. First I'll display student ID, that is student register number. I'll take student register number \t student name \t marks 1 \t marks 2 \t total. After that \n, cursor has to come to next line after displaying the heading. Cout insertion, I'll give some dotted lines here. Now Cout under SREG, it has to display student register number. In which variable it is stored? In REG. So I have to write REG here. After displaying REG, cursor has to give, it has to show tabular space. So I must write \t here. Now student name, which variable? Name. I have taken name itself here. After that \t, again insertion, then m1 insertion \t, after that m2. Those marks will be displayed. I don't have space there, I'll continue here. Cout insertion, after m2 I must give \t here, insertion, then total, semicolon, function close, class close. Let us write the main function here. Void main, see. First I want to read student register number and student name. So I have to call input function. Input function is a member function of class student. After inheritance, this member function is inherited to public section of the derived class. Because visibility mode is public, base class, protected and public members are inherited to derived class. Based on the visibility mode, it selects the access specifier. The protected members are inherited to protected section of the derived class. Public members are inherited to public section of the derived class. Now the derived class public section having input function, scan function and display function, and derived class protected section having reg, name, m1, m2 and t. These are the data members it contains, that subclass contains. Now I'll call input function through which object? Marks object, so that it is confirmed these data will be, or these member functions will be inherited to derived class. Marks, I'll take object name is m dot input. Okay, so what you have to observe here, I am accessing base class member from the object of derived class. After that, scan function m dot scan. Then I want to display all these details: register number, name, marks 1, marks 2, total, and the display code will be in the display function, disp function. So I have to call disp function using this object m dot disp main close. You know that execution starts from main function. When you see the main function, what you can see? Marks and m. So what we thought, there is a class called marks and m is an object of this class. Through this object we are accessing these functions. So what we understood, so these are the member functions and they belongs to marks. But what actually happened here? And those functions, input function is a base class function, it's not its own function. So these details are hidden from the external view. ಅಂದರೆ ಮೇಯ್ನ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಏನೇನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದೇನು? ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಐ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ದ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ದ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹೆಂಗೆ? ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದು ಈ ಥರನೇ ಹೋಗೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಂದ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ದ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಹಿಯರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್? ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ is a base class, it is hidden from the external view and it acts as a base to the other class. That's why we call it as abstract base class. Here student is a abstract base class. Understood? I'll write the definition here. Abstract class is a base class it acts as a base class, base to all other derived classes. To which objects are not created, objects are not created. ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅಂಥ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ನ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅದು ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Next concept in this chapter is constructors and destructors in inheritance. You all know constructor and destructors. What is constructor? Constructor, it is a special member function of a class. It is used to initialize data members of a class, isn't it? We discussed in the last chapter constructors and destructors. In some programs, it is required to initialize some data members. We cannot initialize data members directly in the class. So we need functions, that is a constructor. Constructor, how to identify whether it is constructor or not? Its name is same as its class name. Okay. You can take another function or some member function in order to initialize the data member, but we must call explicitly. If I take constructor, when we create object, it gets called automatically. That is the purpose of constructor. Are you understanding? Constructor is a special member function. So why I am telling constructor here? See, in the previous chapter, in those classes, in those programs, I have taken only one class. In that class, I had taken constructor. When you come to inheritance concept, there are multiple classes. In order to show inheritance, at least you must have two classes. One is base class, another one is derived class. So in that chapter, I had taken only one class. In that class, I had explained the concept of constructors and destructors. Understood? So now let us see how constructors and destructors are used in inheritance. Inheritance anta bandaga ಎರಡು class antu beke beku, minimum two classes. One is base class, another one is derived class. If base class contains constructor, okay, are you understanding? If base class contains constructor, in inheritance, we won't create object for base class. We'll create object for derived class. But a class constructor will be executed automatically when objects are created to that class. I hope you are understanding. If a class having constructor, when that constructor will execute, when we create object of that class, to that class if I create object, then that class constructor will be executed. In inheritance, there are two classes. Minimum we require two classes to show inheritance. One is base class, another one is derived class. If base class having constructor, then we are not creating objects to the base class. We will create object for derived class. So one question will arise, whether constructors are inherited to derived class. Even though constructors are defined in the public section, we know that what are the functions or what are the properties are inherited from base class to derived class? Public and protected, isn't it? Base class public members and protected members are inherited to derived class. You know that constructors are usually, it must be defined in a public section. We should not define constructors in a private section, private or protected section. It must be defined in public section. What you thought? Yeah, public members are inherited. No, constructor also in public section, so it can be inherited to derived class. But the thing is different. Constructors are not inherited to derived class. I told you, public and protected members of base class are inherited to derived class. But one exception. Though you define constructors in public section, it's not inherited to derived class. Then how base class constructors will execute? Because we won't create object for base class, isn't it? We won't create object for base class, we'll create object for derived class. If derived class having constructor, it will execute when we create object for derived class. So in order to execute base class constructor, I have to declare object. I have to create object for base class. If we take different object, particular class object, then there is no necessity of inheritance. If base class also having its object and derived class, if I create object for base class and also for derived class, it's not required. Inheritance concept is not work here, isn't it? So in order to show inheritance, we must create objects for derived class. Through the derived class object, I have to access base class members and also derived class members. So in the case of constructors, if both base class and derived class having constructors, then how to execute? How base class constructors will execute? Derived class constructor will execute because we will create object for derived class, but for base class we did not create object. We won't create object for base class, and base class constructors will not inherit to derived class. Whatever constructors are not inherited to derived class. In such situation, what happens? How to initialize base class data members? We have to supply initial values from the derived class constructor. Understood? The main thing is base class constructors are not inherited to derived class. What is the purpose of constructor? Constructors are used to initialize data members of its class. Constructor na ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ ಡೇಟಾ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ನ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಇನ್ವೋಕ್ ವೆನ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಯಾವ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ ಇದೆ ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಡೇಟಾ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ in inheritance, if base class having constructor and derived class also having constructor, then how to initialize how to invoke base class constructor, then how to initialize base class data member. ಯಾಕೆ base class constructor inherit ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Derived class constructor will be executed when we create object to derived class. So in such situation, derived class constructor has the responsibility to pass initial values to the base class constructor. Understood? So ಯಾರ್ದು ಕೆಲಸ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ನ ಕಳಿಸೋದು ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ದು ಕೆಲಸ. Derived class constructor has to pass initial values to its base class constructor. Then one thing is cleared here, the constructor must be parameterized constructor. We are passing parameters here. The default constructors will not work in the inheritance. If base class having default constructor, it cannot be executed because we won't create object for base class. We will create object for derived class. Okay. Then we must use the parameterized constructor in both base class and derived class. If base class having one data member, derived class having one data member. Let us consider a situation. There are two classes in the program. One is base class, another one is derived class. Let us name the base class as 1 and derived class as 2. Class 1 is a base class, 2 is a derived class. The class 1 having a data member x and class 2 having data member y. I want to initialize x and y with some value. Okay, I want to initialize x with the value 10 and y with the value 20. X belongs to base class and y belongs to derived class. In order to initialize x, I will take a constructor in the base class. What is the name of base class here? 1. 1 is the base class. So I must take a constructor in the base class. That constructor name is also 1. In that constructor, to that constructor I have to pass argument. So in the constructor header, I must write a formal argument. Within the body, I have to initialize that value. And in the derived class, again we have to take one more constructor, derived class, that is also parameterized constructor. Okay, so after that we have to create object for derived class. Which is the derived class here? 2. 2 is the derived class. If I create object for class 2, I have to pass two initial values to that constructor. Though the derived class having only one data member, only one initialization, I must pass two arguments, one for derived class, another for base class. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಡೇಟಾ ಮೆಂಬರ್ನ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಇರೋದು. ಆದರೆ ನಾನು ಮೇಯ್ನಿಂದ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ? 2 ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಒಂದು ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅದರ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ. ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು base class constructors are not inherited to derived class. So derived class constructor must pass initial values to its parent class or its base class. So derived class have the responsibility to pass initial values to its parent class. Let us see the example. Constructors in inheritance. To show inheritance, at least we must have two classes. One is base class, another one is derived class. Class, I'll take class 1, okay. In the protected section, I'll take data member int x. In the public section, 1 open parenthesis int p. I told you it must be parameterized constructor because derived class constructor will pass a parameter to the base class. X is equal to p. If you learned constructor chapter thoroughly, you can easily understand this. Now, class close. Now derived class. I'll take one more class, class 2, class 2, TW2, colon. I'll inherit in a public mode. Base class name is 1, open flower bracket. I'll take a data member y here, protected, int y. In the public section, I must take a constructor. You know constructor name is same as its class name. 2 int, I'll take yum, y is equal, at this moment I'll write like this, later I'll modify this, void display. I'll display both x and y values. Cout insertion, x is equal to x. Cout insertion, y is equal to y. Now, void main. So we have to create object for derived class. Which is a derived class here? 2 is the derived class. 2. I'll take object name as t. I told you derived class constructor has to pass initial value to its base class. To the derived class object, I have to pass argument here. Actually, derived class wants to initialize only one data member. Derived class having only one data member. To this data member, I want to initialize a value. So, derived class requires only one parameter. I'll give 5. This is for derived class data member. 5 copy to m. But for the base class, one more data member is there, no, x. Derived class has to pass initial value to its base class. That's why total how many arguments, how many parameters you required in this program? 2 parameters. 2 constructors you want to initialize. One is for base class, another derived class. So derived class have the responsibility to pass initial value to its base class. So to this class, its own class only one data member, and its parent class another data member. So together it requires 2 parameters. That's why I want to give 2 parameters here, 5 and 4, whatever value, which value you want, you can take here. Now, when we create object t, there is a memory allocation for t. What is the data member here? Y. For x also, memory will be allocated. Why? Because the 2 inherits the properties of 1, class 1. So it is a protected member. Protected members are inherited to protected section of the derived class, and public members are inherited to public members. But in this particular case, public section having a constructor, that's why constructor will not inherit it to derived class. Understood? So I have to pass an argument or a parameter to base class constructor. This requires one parameter, and derived class constructor requires one parameter. Total 2 parameters I have to pass from main function. So which value you want to initialize here, you can choose here. Then how many arguments, how many parameters are coming from here? 2 parameters, but I had taken only one argument, one formal argument. So I must take another. I'll write from here. So there are 2 parameters, no? 2 parameters are coming to this class constructor, derived class constructor. So number and type must be matched in the constructor invoke and constructor definition. Those 2 are integers, int m and int n I'll take. So 5 copy to m and 4 copy to n. Which value you want to initialize to m, you can choose. I want to initialize 5 here, so I'll write m here, and I want to pass 4 to its base class. Then how to pass, this is important here, this is the main point here. Colon, you must write colon. So this is the place from where we are passing parameters to the base class constructor. What is the base class name here? 1. You must write base class name. 1 open parenthesis. Which parameter you are passing here? N. Should not write semicolon there. Then which constructor will execute first? Though you are passing parameters through the derived class to base class constructor will execute first, later derived class constructor. The mechanism, working mechanism is like this. First, these 2 values are copied to formal arguments m and n. Then which value you are passing to base class? N. So this constructor will be invoked. Constructor 1 will be invoked. What is there in n? 4 is there. That 4 is copied to p. And this p copied to x. So finally, we have initialized the data member x. Okay. After that, derived class constructor will execute. Now y gets the value of m. Finally, after that I have to call function, display function, t dot disp close. So what are the points you need to remember? Constructors in inheritance. So this is the instruction. This is main instruction here. This instruction, it passes initial value to its base class. Okay. So constructors, inheritance ಅಲ್ಲಿ constructors ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇದು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆನ್ಸ್. In this example, I have taken single level inheritance, one base class and one derived class. So I want to initialize data members of both classes, base class and derived class. Okay. So base class constructor will execute first, later derived class constructor. I hope you understood this constructors in inheritance, that too in a single level inheritance. I had taken only single level inheritance. One the base class, one the derived class. So total 2 classes ಸೇರಿ 2 ಡೇಟಾ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ನ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಒಂದು ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. Total 2 parameters are required, so I have taken 2 parameters, one for derived class, another for base class. That's why I have taken 2 members here and I am passing one to base class. But base class constructor will execute first, later derived class. Understood? Okay. In the next class, I will explain how constructors are used in multiple inheritance and multi-level inheritance. Thank you.